Warning, this video and all other videos on this channel are for entertainment purposes only. The content of this video and all other videos on this channel are the opinions of the creator only and do not constitute legal, trading, investment, or financial advice of any kind. Investing carries a high level of risk and the majority of retail clients lose money. Do not invest any capital unless you understand the risks and you are prepared to lose it all. Alright, hello and welcome to Camel Finance. I'm your boy Camel, and I don't know about you, but market's quite boring at the moment. I am unusually free of time, and it's largely because I don't think there's much to do, really. I'm just kind of, I've been keeping myself amused in other ways, but I mean, it kind of feels a lot like this to me at the moment, right? Come on, do something. Do something. It's been ages. It's been ages. We just keep going sideways over and over and over again. Maybe we're about to break down. Maybe we're about to confirm that cycle low and rip higher. No one really knows. But until Bitcoin reveals its true direction, then this is pretty much how it feels right now. I have noticed toxicity is returning for the first time in, quite frankly, a long time. It's been a while, and it's not really affecting me a great deal, but I can see a bunch of the other content creators I follow are really experiencing this, and it's really starting to grind some of them down. So I think that's of note. Whether or not it's of use, we'll find out at some other point. For me, at least, it feels quite boring at the moment, which has led me to have a look at strip clubs. And for those of you who know, the stripper index has been pretty good at predicting recessions, right? Strip clubs are always the most leading indicator of all. And good old Rick has absolutely collapsed, and it did lead two of the last recessions. Okay, so 2008, it led back here as well, and right now at the hard right edge, coming off. So is this a sign of an impending recession? I'll let you be the judge. Yesterday, the US debt increased by $109 billion in just one day. So, I mean, that's pretty crazy, right? That is a lot of money. Meanwhile, US job openings unexpectedly rose to 8.14 million in July. So we got this little bit of a pop-up here, right? But what's really interesting about this is they're all government jobs. Right, lifting the headline number was a rise of 179k job openings for the government jobs in May. So they just created, a bunch of government jobs to kind of like make this thing look better, which is kind of weird, right? Sign of the times, I think. Meanwhile, the thing that seems to be stressing everyone out at the moment is Bitcoin and crypto. I think if you have some kind of trade and experience, or you actively trade the markets, like the stock market and the precious metal markets, then at least things aren't going so bad there, right? But for a lot of people in this space, they're Bitcoin or altcoins only or crypto only, and they're not really having a very good time at the moment. The reality is though, okay, breakout, retest, possible resumption, okay, could certainly go either way. And as always, when we've got a potential candidate for a cycle low back here, all the while we're above, then it seems silly to be bearish. Get below that low and suddenly I start to become more bearish, but I'm not going to worry until we lose that low. Nice chart here from Kushi. A lot of people don't want to hear this right now, but it is what it is, right? In hindsight, as Kushi says, this will be very obvious. If what we do out of here is whether we wick it or not, or whether we just blast straight off, if we do something like this, we will be able to look back at this and say, well, no one could have seen that coming. I don't think so. And it reminds me, for the first time where we are now, of being back here. Now, the YouTube channel was very small when we were in this neighborhood, but here's what happened, right? We got above here and I said, okay, let's see if we get a cycle low and go, which we half did, but then we started to roll over. And all in this neighborhood, everyone in my YouTube comments was saying, Camel, it's bearish, it's bearish, it's bearish. And I said, no, it's malpractice to be bearish until we lose that 25k level. A lot of the channel OGs will remember this because this was a conversation we were having every day. And I kept saying it's malpractice to be bearish above 25k. And I used this hindsight way of thinking to illustrate this point. What I said was, if in this neighborhood we were to roll over and break down from 25k, the temptation would have been to say, ha, told you so, Camel, the thing was bearish. But as I was saying back then, you would have been right for the wrong reason, okay? You would have been guessing it was bearish, but only once it lost 25k would we have then had a true reason to be bearish from a technical perspective. So I kept saying, in hindsight, if it is to do this, you'll be able to say, ha, I told you so, but for the wrong reason. And thus, it was malpractice to be bearish here, because as I said at the time, if what happens is we retest 25k, hold it and bounce off, then we'll be able to look back at this moment in time and say, what happened? Well, we broke out, retested, and off we went. There's no reason to be bearish above 25k. So that's where that whole argument of it's malpractice to be bearish above 25k came from. I know a lot of the channel OGs remember this conversation very, very fondly, but it's kind of where we are now, right? We've got another one of these ranges. And if we break down, okay, then you have a technical reason to be bearish. Then we actually have breakdowns. We would have also have been losing this second angle of attack. Oh, my mouse is broken. I'm realizing now this seems like it's broken already because this is on log, I think. But on the regular scale, this thing's still holding, right? It's still holding. So as far as I can tell, like I said, you know, all the while we're holding this range, then we're holding the range. It seems malpractice to be bearish. And like I was saying, it completely seems to be a replica of the emotions and the psyche of back here. Like I was saying, everyone was bearish all the way through here. Bearish, bearish, bearish. Held support. Bearish, 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 bearish. Held support. Okay? And again, you know, if we lose the lows, then you can be bearish. Then you've got an absolutely valid reason to be bearish. Then even I become bearish. But if we keep holding, then again, won't we have just done this, right? Once, twice, off we go. Will we be able to get here and look back and say, wow, nobody could have seen that coming? I don't think so, personally. So anyway, the truth is, for 15, 16 weeks, we've been going sideways. And that is quite boring, as I said earlier. Reminds me of this meme right here. Very, very nice chart here from El Prez as well, okay? If we pull this chart up and just look at this, okay, we forget all the sentiment, we forget it's Bitcoin and everything else, we forget the altcoins are down 90% or whatever it is. Is this not a massive, massive, massive bull pennant? And again, how do we treat these? Well, if it breaks to the upside, that's bullish. And if it breaks to the downside, that's bearish, right? Now, nobody knows which way it's going to go. But all the while we're in here, this is still no man's land. And certainly all the while we're making higher lows, then there's not really any point in being bearish there either, right? And so hopping into the charts, let me move my fractal away. Okay, let me move this out of the way. You can see the second angle in red, okay? So far, still holding above. Happy days from my perspective at least. What else have we got, objectively speaking, based on the charts? So far, we are working on breakout, retest, possible resumption, or possible retest failure. Okay, now we don't know yet because we haven't seen it close, but we'll know by tomorrow. If this candle closes below this trend line, then that's not a good sign, right? That's a failed breakout. If, however, this wicks back up and closes today's candle above that trend line, then again, we've got breakout, retest, possible resumption. But this is what I mean by it's kind of boring, right? Also, we've got a cycle low candidate here. Okay, let me move my arrow over something like this. So all the while it's above the low, then it's above the low. Yeah, like it's just boring. It's just really, really boring. If it holds this low and does something like this, what will we be able to say? Well, with hindsight, that was super obvious. We found a cycle low, Dalai Lama our way out, breakout, retest, resumption, and off we went. And of course, similarly, if we do something like this, take out that low, trade down, maybe even lose this second angle in red, well, then what would we be able to say? Well, again, now we've got a reason to be bearish because we found a cycle low, Dalai Lama, fake breakout, failed cycle. Okay, so in here, suddenly, then we can be bearish. But for now, there's nothing to say. This is the funny thing, right? There is nothing to say. Just because I've been saying that it's probably going to go up doesn't mean I'm right. Yeah, there's nothing to say we can't do this for ages. But for now, let's at least wait and see the close, I think. Let's at least wait and see the close. Like I said, we're still above the second angle. Okay, we're still above the cycle low. Hard for me to be bearish until something changes. Still keeping an eye on the yields. So far, no invalidation, no breakout. What about the 2-year yield? Similar kind of deal, right? No real invalidation. This is even less close than the 10-year is. No changes to the dollar, still kind of holding the support, roughly speaking. Precious metal markets, it's a bit early to have a cycle low in play. So this, in theory, should roll over one final time, get us into a cycle low and a weekly cycle low. We'll find out. I noticed silver thinking about breaking out, right? But is it just a backside under test of this range that goes back to the $30? So again, we're going to find out. We could maybe encompass that wick like this. Yeah, I don't know. We're going to find out, right? In theory, the cycles are down for another week or two, and then it should be time to get long. But as you can see, it's kind of risky to be long here, given where the cycles are, right? The cycles are still down. This is still very early to have a cycle low in play. So it speaks to being boring, right? Speaks to needing to wait and see what happens going forward. Meanwhile, the stock market confirmed its half cycle low, and now it seems to be resuming higher on its way to that next daily cycle low. So long and strong continue to push, right? Across all those indexes. The Dow's starting to pick up some pace as well. Happy days. We'd like to see the Russell widen a little bit. That would be nice, wouldn't it? It'd be really nice if we could get a push off of here. It's been a long time coming. It's been chopping around for a while, but no invalidation really occurring, right? The range is the be-all, end-all, and still comfortably above that. We still have a situation where the crypto-related equities are starting to move higher. A lot of them are doing very, very well, particularly in the members section. And it begs the question, doesn't it? Why are the crypto-related equities doing well if what comes next is a big plunge to 40 or 30 or 50k? Something else I'm noticing in my comment section is there's a lot of people saying silly things. And what I mean by that is they're saying things like, told you the top's in at 75k or 73, whatever that number is. Where's that? 73. told you the top's in, right? Told you that was the left translated cycle. And I go, oh, cool. Did you short it then? No, I went long. What? What? I'm noticing this a lot. A lot of people will write 1 or 2 sentences to me on Twitter, top's in, or we're going 30k next. And I go, okay, cool, short it then. That's what makes a market, right? I'll be long if I want to be long, or I'll be short. And it doesn't matter, right? It doesn't matter. Whatever you think, just take a position. But one thing I notice is the people that are the most vocal about saying it's going down or saying the top is in, that really was the top for the whole cycle, those people aren't short, which really says something to me. It really, really says something. It says that a lot of people don't seem to have a clue what's going on. And even if they're operating from this fear state, they still don't believe in it or don't want to believe in it. Because if you really did think that was the top, you'd go short, right? You wouldn't be saying to yourself, wow, Camel's long, so I better get long as well. That doesn't make any sense. So it's a pretty interesting time to be alive. I still kind of maintain this is the thing, right? It's just really boring, really, really boring. Pushing the longs in the stock market, long and strong there, patiently waiting for a cycle load for gold to form, and Bitcoin, again, until it loses the cycle or pushes off, then boring. boring. So it might be a time to go fishing, I think. Anyway, I hope you're doing well. Until next time, take care from me. All the best. Cheers. Bye.